Yeah, that might be law enforcement over there. So they're aiming this thing, and as JT suspected, the attention may be on that back seat. And they seem to be pretty much lined up with that back seat. Say that again, Michael.
Bill Thomas is now live in Air 7 HD. Bill, what do you have for us?
This is the end of the pursuit. It happened on San Bernardino Avenue, just west of Mountain View at Shedder. Folks in the area, folks in the neighborhood, they know this intersection very well. A lot of folks in the neighborhood, most likely, they're being told to stay indoors, hunker down. This is still an active situation. There's the SUV involved in the shootout and the end of the chase. We still have not confirmed that this is the SUV involved with the shooting from earlier this morning. A lot of indications leading some credibility to that, but we have to wait for the official word from law enforcement on the ground. That is a bullet-riddled SUV. Well, here's what we can show you. SWAT officers, Rialto, also Colton SWAT officers, other agencies here, they have that SUV completely surrounded. They believe that there's a suspect in the back seat, possibly. So they've got it surrounded, the doors are open, and the bulk of the windows have been shot out. That's what we can show you. What we can show you at the bottom of your screen is one person who was shot and killed may have been a suspect in that vehicle, and he's down on the ground. Live from Air 7 HD, I'm Bill Thomas, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. David, back to you.
All right, let's set back. Okay, let's be careful here. What we see, the back door, the passenger side back seat door is now open. They have a device of some sort, a wand of some sort that they have brought in where they can move things around safely. And clearly, from what you saw from that brief few seconds, you couldn't really determine what was in there, but they're already moving around. They're moving it around there to see what they could find in that back seat. So as JT Albaugh had pointed out earlier, and from the traffic that he was hearing, a lot of suspicion inside that back seat. Be careful here. As they are moving backwards now. They're moving the vehicle backwards. Perhaps they've grabbed on to something or somebody, and there it is. Okay.
Yes.
All right. We're going to be very careful about this, but I'm very clear that they just pulled the body out of the vehicle.
The suspect down.
The suspect out of the back seat of the car. He is now on the ground. Because of that vehicle and position it's in, it is blocking the view. But if they move this vehicle back, we're going to have to pull out for sure.
Absolutely. And, you know, we're learning a little bit more about this vehicle. It's an armored critical incident vehicle. It's called the Rook, sort of like a hook. But you saw that. JT was talking about how they could use that to save. They're heavily armed themselves, and they can save themselves, not have to use their canine to go into that situation because, again, that canine's very vulnerable if someone is heavily armed and not afraid to use
valuable, and of course, and they treat the canine just as another officer. Back to the scene where the SUV is, there is now a body of some sort, or at least an injured person, that is on the asphalt where the door is open on the driver's side of the back seat. They just pulled that body out. We all saw it. We couldn't see details, but we did see it.
More movement. Do you see that, David? There's still more movement in that back seat, possibly with some white sort of white shirt, white something. I don't know if it's the body of the suspect.
They do have that device as well moving around. I don't know if that is moving some fabric material back there or if it's actually something else that's moving.
You know, just as you keep taking a look, we can't get in too closely because it might be a very gruesome sight, again, with all those bullet holes.
They're pulling back now, and they're pulling out, looks like a blanket or some tarp of some sort that they just pulled out of the back seat. So this is probably what you saw moving around in the back seat. So they were actually moving that. I believe pretty wholeheartedly that the first thing we saw them pull out of the vehicle was the body.
I believe so.
Of the suspect. And that is on the ground. And then the tarp that they just pulled out of some sort, that is now on the ground. Perhaps it fell next to or on top of what we believe to be the third suspect in this
But they're
scenario.
still this is still a very active, intense situation. You can see none of the guns are still drawn. You see that at the on the second Bearcat that's to the left. You see him in the turret as well.
We are watching this along with Bill Thomas overhead in Air 7 HD. Bill watching it as well. So Bill, we'll bring you back in on the conversation. What have you seen?